In this video, we're going to talk about the Excel Capstone project. There's a folder in Blackboard for the Excel Capstone project. With this project, we're going to take a look at some basketball statistics. You're going to start with a file with statistics about various basketball players, and you're going to calculate some statistics and create some graphs and charts. The details of the assignment are here, Excel Capstone assignment, and that will download a Word document. And then the data file that you'll use to start your project is here, Excel Capstone data file. So let's take a look at both of those. The Word document explains a little bit about gives you the details about the project. There's a link identifying where the statistics came from, but you don't need to follow that link. You're going to use within Blackboard, if you click on the Excel Capstone data file, that will download the data file that you'll use. So you'll download that file and you'll rename it to last name Excel Capstone. And what you're going to do is the first sheet in that file that you download is called Main Collection. And this is a sheet with all kinds of various basketball players. So you're going to pick somebody. You're going to pick 5 players. The first thing I recommend doing is copying the column headings. So I'm just going to copy that. And on my first sheet here, I'm going to paste those column headings in. I'm going to select a player. Let's take Ray Allen. And I'm going to select all of the rows for Ray. And I'm going to copy those rows and paste them in. And we'll do that for each one of the 5 players. I'm going to name my sheet Ray Allen. And then what you're going to do is you're going to customize it, and you're going to delete based on the project directions. You're going to delete any extra columns, and these are the ones that you'll end up with when you finish deleting the extra columns. So for example, we're going to delete player ID. So I'm going to delete that column. We need last name, we need the first name, we need season ID and conference, but we don't need the league ID. So I'm going to delete that column, and you'll work through that, deleting any of the extra columns. And like I say, you'll do that for each one of your 5 players. Below the player data, you're going to select an area spanning 5 columns across and 9 rows deep. And then you're going to put a border around that area. And then there's details here as to what you're going to do. You're going to merge cells, etc. So let's take a look at one that I've already created. And in this case, this was originally those dimensions. So it was the 5 columns across and 9 rows deep. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 9 rows deep. And for the player ID, player name, we have merged all of those into one cell. So column A and column B, for those rows, we've merged all of those together. And then in this case, we've merged the cells in C and D, one for each row, and then we've added the labels for seasons played, minutes played, etc. And then what you're going to do, so you'll do that for each one of your 5 players. So I recommend starting out that way, create a sheet for each player, build this grid, and then after you've done you can do all of that with chapter 1. You can also, after chapter 1, you can create the player comparison, where you can build the layout. You'll have each player name, shade each one the fill color with a different shade of gold. You'll put each of their names there and the column headings. So then we'll go back to Ray. Let's see. I'll just pick another one of my players here. And then you're going to calculate statistics. And what you should do for the statistics is you'll use functions and formulas. So each one of these, you're not going to calculate it manually. You're not going to go through and manually count up how many players there are. You're going to go through and use a function to be able to count how many seasons there are. You'll use a function to sum or total up the total number of minutes played. You'll use a function to calculate the average, etc. Successful field goals, that one's a little bit tougher. Think about it if you took 2 shots and you made one of them. What was your percentage? That would be 50%. Well, how did you get it? Think about what you're dividing by what. So you may have to sum something and then divide it by the sum of something else. So think about what the number of successful field goals would be. And like I say, you'll end up with a formula where you'll have a sum of one thing divided by the sum of something else, and that will be a percentage. After you calculate those percentages, you'll manually enter them into the appropriate columns here on this chart, on this page. Then what you'll do is you will create graphs or charts, and you'll end up with 3 different ones. One will be on each sheet. So the functions and the calculations, those you should be able to do after Excel Chapter 2. After Excel Chapter 3, and you've got some formatting and things to do here, specific formatting. After Excel Chapter 3, you can create the pie chart, combination chart, and the column chart. So you'll have all your data, and you'll be able to create those charts and add the appropriate labels. At the end of the document, it shows you how many sheets you should have, what worksheets and what order they should be in. So you still will have main collection. You'll have 5 player sheets. You'll have a comparison sheet and 1 sheet for each worksheet or for each graph or chart. And like I say, you'll pay attention to the various types of formatting within the project directions. So that gives you a quick overview of what the project's going to be like. And like I say, it's designed where you can do it in parts after each one of the Excel chapters. So if you have any questions, please let me know. And most students have had fun with this project, so have fun.